Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another game review. Now, this is Man United 4, Liverpool 0 on the pre-season tour. Now, in order to talk about the game and, what they think, we've got here Culture Cams, who you will be seeing on the 5 channel this season. He's going to be doing 5 formations. He did a wicked episode, 2 wicked episodes with Rio, actually. We've got the Barcelona game that you reviewed and the Rome game. We're going to be putting the links in the description and, of course, at the end boards. And, of course, we've got Kathleen McNamee from ESPN and the most capped woman England player, Fara Williams, who is working for the BBC right now during the Euros. Now, Cams, let's get to it, man. Man United 4, Liverpool 0. Is it the correct representation of where they currently are?
I mean, I would not say it's the correct representation of where the teams are, because let's not forget that Liverpool were going for the treble. I mean, the quadruple. And slowly that crashed, but that's for another day. You know what I mean? It's all about Man United today, and we don't really know where Man United stand at the moment, because you've got a new manager, you've had outgoings, it's pre-season, so you can't really make that assumption yet. But one thing that you can say, whether it's pre-season, whether it's middle of the season, whether it's a cup final, that was a good performance from United, and that is a lot more of what we want to see. And I was happy that he started with his fully strengthened side. People said when the lineups dropped, everyone was laughing, like, oh, pre-season, you're playing your strongest side. He's never had these guys. He's never played with these guys. So it's important for him to know who he can trust, who can, who can deliver his instructions. So it was really important for him to start with his strongest 11. And of course, if you're playing against Liverpool's second string team, and I know Klopp made some changes after 30 minutes, you expect to blow them out. And if we didn't, everyone would have been disappointed. So now that you have done it, let's not just say, oh, it's just pre-season or anything. You went out, you delivered the instructions, and you got the job done. So I'm super happy about that. And I'm looking forward to the Ten Hag era.
Oh, don't start, man. But you got a solid point. For those who don't know the scorers, Jadon Sancho got the first goal in the 12th minute. Then Fred scored in the 30th minute. Anthony Martial also scored on the 33rd minute. And Pellistri scored in the 76th minute. So that was 3 goals in the first half, 1 goal in the second half. It looked like Liverpool were putting you guys under pressure, though, in the second half when they had their better players. When Trent came on, when Mo Salah came on, I saw a better team. What did you make of Liverpool in the second half?
I fully agree. Salah looks sharp, man. That guy looks like he's still in the middle of the season. Like, he looks sharp and ready. And, he had some good touches. He threatened De Gea. I don't think it was De Gea. Yes, it was De Gea. Threatened De Gea as well. So, of course, like, as they brought on their better players, we took off our better players as well. So I wouldn't say, it was anything making too much noise. But, I was impressed with some of the players that came on for United. And when you get the top players like Liverpool have, Trent, Salah, you're expecting a resurgent side. But again, Liverpool will just see it as, let's just get a rhythm. It's a lot different, I think, Liverpool's targets in this game compared to United's. Ours is deliver new instructions, impress the manager, impress the fans. It's been such a depressing time. Whereas Liverpool, it's like, all right, let's get the blood in our legs again, and
run around.
Yeah, and just see the game and see what happens. But of course, preseason or not, you don't want to be losing 4-0 to your rivals at all. So they can hold that,
Are you really rivals, though, at this moment? I don't know. I'm just saying. We'll talk about that later on. Ahmed Diallo. The other day we did an interview with Rio, and he was just like, oh, he's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Yes, he went to Rangers, didn't really play well. I think when he first came into the scene for United, I remember him playing in Europe. He scored on his debut, did really well. I think he's a direct player. Don't you think it's an opportunity for him to really make sure that he doesn't go back out on loan, especially because you guys do need a right winger? I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, no, 100%. For me, Ahmad is a very talented boy. He's a very talented player, fantastic touch, close control, got good vision with his passing as well. I understand physically he's a bit lacking, and he does get shrugged off a little bit easily, but that he's still got to grow, and Ten Hag could see something in him, because we know Ten Hag likes technical footballers. We know he likes the ball on the floor and he likes to play. So this is what preseason is for. He can come into this team and see if he can make that impression. And he did. He came on, had some nice touches, got the assist for Pellistri, and that's what you got to do. One thing I would say is I understand what Rio was saying about, he went to Rangers and didn't get a sniff and it's men's football, but not every loan is successful at the end of the day. Jesse Lingard went on 3, 4, 5 loans. Harry Kane went on 3, 4 loans. My friend is a Norwich fan. He said they were saying this Harry Kane guy is awful, and now he's gone on to be one of the best strikers we've ever seen in the league.
Yeah.
So loans for me, it's about going out there and experiencing, becoming a man. Learning that there's different sides of the game, and because he didn't get their minutes, it could have helped him his resilience. It could have helped his mentality. Don't be too down. Never get too down. Never get too high. So we don't know what that loan spell could have done for him, but I understand what Rio was saying. But I think Ahmad deserves a look in as much as everybody else, because it was the worst season Manchester United have ever recorded in the Premier League points-wise, and Ahmad wasn't a part of that. So, he can come in and see what he can do as well.
I want to focus on a couple more players on the Man United team before I touch on a couple more on the Liverpool team. Marcus Rashford, he's a guy that really needs to have a good season. We know what he can do. Obviously, last year it was probably his worst season. Did you see him play today? What did you think of his performance?
Rashford, yeah, he didn't do anything too special today, I'll be honest. He was linking up well, connecting well with, Martial and Sancho, but he didn't really have too much like openings. He had one little one, but nothing really came from it. And for him, especially, it's a big season, it's a big season ahead. I think Ten Hag will favor him, but he's got to prove himself again. The seasons before, yes, he scored 20-something goals 2 seasons before, but his stock really, really crashed last year. And did he down tools after a while? Was it confidence? We don't know. Only Marcus Rashford will be able to tell you that. But all we do know is this season is a massive one for him. And I hope he comes out the other side, because, some of the stuff that gets said about him is borderline madness. You know what I mean? So I hope he comes out with the fire in his belly and tries to prove people wrong.
You said that like a real pundit there, as if you've got a Marcus Rashford interview lined up coming real soon. My God, Cams, I ain't ever.
Thank me later.
Flipping heck, that was proper professional. Also, I wanna ask Anthony Martial, after what you saw today, does he have a season? Does he have a chance? Well, it looks like he's gonna. You guys need the players, right? But is he gonna be a big part of Ten Hag's plans?
That's $1 million question. Everyone is talking about that at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, is Martial actually going to be the one that starts up front for United? Ten Hag has just said that Ronaldo is still part of his plans. So is it going to be Ronaldo going forward? We don't know. Like, on paper, you would think that, again, just like I was saying about Ahmad, that Martial is somebody that could really appeal to Ten Hag. And reports have said that he has impressed Ten Hag. But there's always that little thing about Martial. Are you giving enough? Are you even fit enough? Sometimes it doesn't even look fit enough. Are you fit enough? Are you giving enough? Is the attitude right? We know he's a very talented footballer. He's a fantastic footballer. But it's always that other side, that other 50%.
Stop saying fantastic, mate. Don't. It's
he's a fantastic footballer.
He's not. No, don't. Come on.
What are you talking about?
Stop it, Cams. Come on, man.
He's just as good as a footballer as Gabriel Jesus, who you just forked out, how much for?
But this is not about Arsenal.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't even know if he's as good of a footballer as Jesus, if I'm really honest with you. I don't think he's as good of a footballer. I think Jesus is way smarter than him.
I said technical football player. He's just as good technically. 100%. What are you saying, Joe? He's not.
Question mark. Oh, it's not this Martial that scored against Liverpool those many years ago. I'm looking at him now. Don't get me wrong, it was a good goal today, but I don't know about that. That's a debate for another day. But
I'm not saying. All I'm saying is I'm not Martial's biggest fan, by the way. I'm not at all. I'm not like
you're
saying
not Martial FC.
No, I'm not. None of that. I've never been there. I'm not saying he's world class or he's anything or he's ever been world class. What I'm saying is, he's talented, but he's got to tap into that. And I'm going to be honest. I'm at that point where I'm like, listen, if he got sold this season, I would not have cared. But if he's going to be here, then let me see something. And look, you're the one that's at the preseason, not Ronaldo. you are the one that's probably going to start the season. Make Ronaldo sit on the bench if you really want it. That's a challenge for him.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I do want to highlight though that was a really good chip by Fred as well. Good goal from Jadon Sancho as well and Martial. And yeah, no, it's interesting stuff. My last two questions are Nunez and Carvalho. Those are the new boys. What did you think of their performance today?
I think again, Carvalho was another one. Carvalho didn't really have much to do. I mean, the game, was blitzed at the end of the day. I wouldn't say he really impressed. It's big for him at the moment, Carvalho, coming from Fulham to Liverpool, quadruple chasers. They won the FA Cup, they won the Carabao Cup, they're one of the best teams in the league. That is going to be a massive jump. He's probably going to have to go through that Harvey Elliott route in terms of Elliott went on loan, which I don't think they're going to do because he's already proven that he's championship quality, past the championship quality. But, he's going to be a bit part. I don't think he's going to have a massive role in Liverpool's team this season. He's going to come in. Minamino was playing those Carabao Cup games. He's gone now. That could potentially be Carvalho. Harvey Elliott was coming in on the right side of that centre midfield. Carvalho can come in and fill in like that as well. And that's what young players do. And that's what a good manager, you ease them in. You don't throw them in. That's a Man United thing. Throw in the youngsters, sink or swim. But a good managers, you ease them in. And it's similar way to how he did with Konate as well. Nunez is a different one. For me, I thought Nunez was all right. You know what I mean? The touches were a bit, I'm not too sure about his touches. You know what I mean? I've been talking about technical ability. Not too sure. Seeing 4 or 5 touches in situations where it only required 1, they only required 2. So I'm watching him very closely, but missed the open goal as well. So it wasn't the greatest game for him, but we'll see what happens. But I'm very interested to see how he connects with Salah. Is he going to be in Salah's spaces? Because he wants to be up there. He wants to be the focal point. Salah wants to be coming inside as well. It's going to be very interesting to see that dynamic.
It's a seniority thing, though, man. Like, if Mane couldn't do it and he was the triple OG, then he's not in Salah's key positions. But listen, Cams, I want to say thank you very much for your time. I keep plugging because you've got 5 formations coming out. Big show. The one you did against Barcelona was great with Rio and the Roma game as well. So if you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch it. And of course, Cams is going to be in the debate show that we have coming out this year. We got one that we're filming really soon. And don't forget, guys, the 8th of August, Vibe with 5 is back. It's going to be better than ever. And I need to quickly hop on and talk to Kathleen and, of course, Fara Williams in regards to the England game yesterday where they thrashed Norway 8-0. Guys, stay tuned. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Joel Bear and we are back. Look, today we're going to be doing a roundup video and I've got here the one, the only Fara Williams. Farah, you okay? How you doing?
I'm very good. Hanging a little bit from the Lioness victory last night.
You're hanging a little bit. Listen, I can tell. And you look like you got in pretty late.
A little bit. Not too late.
Yeah, I say that because you told me off air. You look great.
Yeah. I don't want to get in trouble.
Nah, it's cool. You're good, man. I was going to say as well, punditry is going really, really well over there for you at BBC. I mean, great praise from Rio as well. I saw that was brilliant.
Yeah. No, I obviously appreciate it. I just feel like when I do punditry, and especially when I'm doing the Lionesses, I'm just a fan. So I try to bring the fan out of me when I'm talking about it, and maybe overexcited at times when I'm in the studio, but I can't help myself that the game means so much to me. It's giving me so much, so it's hard to not have those emotions. When talking about it, especially the Lionesses.
Look, man, we love to see it, girl. We love to see you excited. So keep on being happy about it, man. Great to see. And of course, you've got Kathleen McNamee. How you doing, Kathleen? You okay?
I'm doing good. A bit like Farah, a bit wrecked after last night being at the game, but
good stuff. Was you representing ESPN as per usual?
Yeah, I was there for ESPN.
Okay, cool. So Farah's there for BBC, you're there for ESPN. Listen, we're going to be getting some great insight here. I want to start off by, letting anyone know if they don't know, England beat Norway 8-0. Now, honestly, you could tell on social media, people were going mad. It really gave belief for everyone watching. Goal scorers were Stanway, Lauren Hemp, Ellen White, Beth Mead with that hat trick. Go on, girl. And of course, Alicia Russo. Can you guys talk us through the game? Farah, we'll start off with you. What did you like about the England team that you saw yesterday?
They were clinical. I think if you compare the two games, the opening game against Austria, where, Serena and the players, openly said that they wasn't calm and composed. They wasn't able to gather, any sort of possession-based football, which we're used to seeing the Lionesses play. And I felt yesterday the penalty came at a good time for England. Norway were, still in the game, and they got a penalty that, some would argue it was a questionable penalty, but for me, a definite penalty. And it changed the momentum of the game. It completely shifted momentum for the Lionesses. And then, from that moment in front of goal, I mean, they scored one in every 3 shots they had at goal. So in terms of that ratio, it's fantastic and certainly an improvement from the first game against Austria.
I want to ask you, Kathleen, first of all, what did you like about what you saw? I know obviously Farah said that they were clinical. What did you see that you liked? And also, what was your favorite goal?
Oh, that's a good question. I think my favorite goal was definitely Beth Mead's. Was it her second one where she jinked inside Blackstad, jinked inside again, and then took her shot? I just thought that was great. But then in terms of what I saw that I liked, I think it's not that different to what Farah said in terms of how clinical they were, but also just how composed and in control they seemed. There was, at the start when they got that first goal, it was like the whole team took a breath of like relief or something, and they're like, okay, we're going to push on now. And it was so obvious from the way that Norway were set up that they just hadn't got their tactics right at all. And you're like, I was watching Lucy Braun start every play from the start, like down that right hand side. She was just putting ball after ball down towards White, Hemp, Mead. And they were just doing the exact same things over and over again and having so much success with them, and weren't holding back at all from being like, we're actually going to finish all these shots perfectly, which is something that they haven't done all the time in the past. So I love that. And I love the fact that, like, in the press box, there was just like all the journalists were like gasping as the goals went in, because no one was expecting such a great result like so early on in the first half. There was a Norwegian guy beside me who literally shut down his laptop, and he was just like, no one's going to want to write about this or read about this tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to even bother. So I think it was that composure and the fact that when the subs came on, like the intensity didn't change at all. Like we saw Russo got her goal. They were as committed as the ones who had just come off to making sure that they hammered them and hammered them well.
Farah, since the Phil Neville tenure, what have you noticed that's been different within the England women's team?
They've just had a shift in their mentality. I think, that was probably something that was missing within the group, when I was a player, and then obviously when I come out of the international setup, and you could still see it was still there. Something needed to change. I feel like Serena's been there and done it, knows how to win. I think the players certainly have a lot of respect for her, a lot of trust in what she's saying and doing. So yeah, it was just a shift in that. I think the competitive. Oh, I can't get my words out. Competitiveness now within the squad is probably at its highest ever it's ever been since I know. But yesterday for me, it's a difficult one. I spoke to some of the players after the game about how they felt. Norway were poor yesterday. From that first goal that went in, they folded. They gathered together after the first goal. They gathered together after the second goal. And I feel like the manager, let them down. Their manager let them down in terms of he didn't make a change for them. And then England just pounced on that. I spoke to Lucy Bronze after the game, and she said it was probably one of the easiest international fixtures she's played. Now, to say that against a top-ranked team, in the European Championship, in the second group game, when, both of you are fighting for that top spot so that you avoid, one of the tougher oppositions in the quarterfinal, to come off a pitch and feel like, you could go again, it doesn't say much for Norway. And I was sat next to John Arne Riise, and, he was more gutted about, we was talking about the fact that the coach didn't change the tactics, but more about the players and the attitude of them and, body language. And they were just deflated and they didn't show any fight. And I think that for Norwegian fans was something that, they're gonna struggle with, because they're not used to a Norwegian team not giving at least that little bit of fight.
I want to ask you, Kathleen, now, obviously, great result yesterday. The one thing that people want to avoid, anyone wants to avoid, is complacency. Now, Northern Ireland's next. I mean, it's we should win that game. What do you reckon the approach is going to be? I mean, after you won 8-0, where do you go from here? You're through as well. So what do we do?
Yeah, well, I think we've seen with Serena in the past that she's not a massive person for changing up her squad all that much. Like once she's decided on who she likes, she keeps them in. So I don't think we're going to see massive changes from her. And if they do come, they'll come during the game and maybe just like resting players earlier. I think it is going to be really hard for them not to set that complacency in, especially with Northern Ireland being the next team that they're playing. But she has shown that like that mental resilience is something she's clearly worked really hard on with this English squad, and it's something that we haven't seen from them entirely in the past, and something they're really going to need for when they're in the knockout zone. So I think that it's going to be a case of taking it. She said it even last night. She was like, whether it's 1-0 or 8-0, a win is a win. You need to go forward and, you know, park that it happened and move on to the next thing. And if anyone, I think, can guide them through it, I think it will be her, because she just seems to have managed to click into something in their psyche that has got them this far and has had them put up these impressive performances.
And what teams are you, should I say, worried about or concern you, maybe, should I say, or who should we watch out for?
I think France were very impressive the other night. Fair enough, Italy didn't get their tactics right at all. And a bit like Norway last night, just didn't change in time to actually make much of a difference in the game. But I just think the way they played was amazing. Germany as well also showed that they're a very, very capable side. There were some question marks over them coming into the tournament. And then you can never like discount a Sweden or a Netherlands. Having watched both of them the weekend, I don't know, do they have that just the final power that they need to in terms of getting goals? But I mean, these are the sort of teams that get into the knockout rounds and turn around and start hammering them in. So you just have to wait and see.
And Farah, which player should we be watching out for?
I think pre-tournament we was talking about Lauren Hemp. I certainly was, and Frank Kirby. And you know, in the opening game against Austria, I don't think Lauren Hemp found her feet. But I felt against Norway yesterday, she certainly turned up and, you know, put her name on the tournament. I think she's somebody that for the Lionesses, you know, will be key going forward. There's been some really good players throughout the tournament. I really will get, you know, the tournament's just started, but I really want to get these group stages out of the way, because
come on, let's enjoy, Farah. Come on.
But the 8 teams, you know what it is? The eight teams that we've been talking about, they're showing why they're being spoken about, and it's like, who is the best? And it's so hard to tell. Like the Germans the other day, they were phenomenal, and everybody's like, they're physically more powerful, everything, than everybody else. And then you watch Sweden against the Netherlands, and it's like, oh, Sweden was so good. And then you watch the French, and then England, and it's like, so everybody's like, who do we think is going to win? And genuinely, because these teams are playing so well, you can't pick. And I just want to get to that quarterfinal stage to see who really has it in them, who's got that resilience, who will crumble under the pressure. And so yeah, I'm itching to get to that quarterfinal stage now that I've seen the Lionesses yesterday.
You're still a sports athlete, man. You really are.
It's annoying. I was a big fan yesterday in the stadium. Loved it.
Okay, listen, I want to say thank you very much to the both of you guys joining, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining Fara Williams and Kathleen McNamee. We will be getting you guys back on 5. And yeah, make sure you enjoy the tournament, and we'll see you soon. Peace.